All right, so it's late night and we decided to do a smoked chicken for tomorrow. And we just got a brand new grill and we're trying to figure out how to actually make this something good. So looked up a simple recipe and we're gonna season our chicken tonight, put a little bit of rub on it, let it sit in the refrigerator overnight, and tomorrow we'll be able to put it on the smoker. So we're going to use dark brown sugar. We got chili powder, which is about a teaspoon. We had actually a tablespoon probably of the dark brown sugar. Teaspoon of the chili powder. We got some thyme out of our garden. We got some oregano out of our garden. Both of those are about 3/4 or a full teaspoon worth. We got some smoked paprika. We got fresh ground, well, not fresh, but we got ground pepper out of our mill. We got sea salt. We got onion powder, and we got some of our special secret blend of ground peppers from our garden, so it gives a little bit of heat. And then we're going to do some garlic. So I'm going to put all those into a bowl. We're going to mix them up, and then we're going to treat the chicken right. All right, so we blended our spices up a little bit and got nice pretty colors. I'll put the garlic in, and I'm going to go ahead and put this in the bowl, and we're going to mix it all up. And then you can see the chicken waiting in anticipation to get this all over it. So we'll make this go together. We're going to put our chicken up on here. So the idea is, before you get to this point, your chicken is patted dry so it doesn't get too moist. And we're going to put her over here. I don't know if there's a hen or a... Let's see, make these all nice and ground up. Got that garlic in there. It smells pretty good, all that stuff going on. So we're going to pat that into our chicken. Hopefully it's not barking at us. It's making noise at me. I don't know if it's a good noise or bad noise, but, well, yeah, I hear you, chicken. Stop making all that noise. Tomorrow, when we get our new fancy grill ready to go, this will be all set to go right on there and make it happen. We haven't done grilled anything, chicken, turkey, goose, any of that stuff in a few years. But hopefully our new Camp Chef pellet grill is going to make it so this stuff is awesome. So I'm really looking forward to it. Make the cavity filled up. We're going to let this sit overnight, and then probably tomorrow about noon we'll be able to get the actual smoking going on and see how it turns out. Put it in our pot, and then we're going to cover it up and let it sit overnight and let it appreciate all those good herbs and spices. And we'll come back and see you in the morning. All right, so we're back out here. We're ready to get our chicken, just about ready to put it on the grill. And I had some jalapenos that I'm making into chipotles out here and was smoking those, but I was using the original wood blend, and I forgot to switch it over to the applewood. So I was going to use this opportunity to show how easy it is to switch this out on the Camp Chef. We've already drained out the chips that were in here, the wood pellets that were in here, and it's a matter of just pulling the pin or the lever and it drains out. You can put your original bag or whatever you're holding your pellets in right there, and it easily drains out. Close that bag up before we put the next batch in. So for the chicken, I wanted to do a sweeter wood, so went to our local home improvement store and got applewood. So it was a 20-pound bag, and it was $10. So I so far, this thing's pretty cheap to run, and this should give us a nice mild smoke flavor for our chicken. And I'm gonna still continue smoking our chipotles and serranos on the grill while the chicken's going, so it's probably gonna absorb a little bit of that flavor as well, because I can smell the jalapenos right now. So we'll dump our, and it's not a big deal to fill it all the way up. If it doesn't use it, we'll just put it back in there. So our chicken's gonna be going for probably about 5 hours at the temperature we're gonna be smoking it at. So it'll probably burn through a bunch of this. If not, we'll just put it back in the bag when we're done. All right, so we'll be back here in a minute to put the chicken on. All right, so after we switch the wood out, we're about to put the chicken on, and it's gonna share some space with the jalapenos. And I think our temperature is a little bit higher than what, if you can see that there, it says 246, and we're aiming for about 225-ish, keep it around there. So be interesting to see how this works. But you can see we have our peppers going on to make some chipotles, and whatever the smoked version of serranos are, and then some red peppers. So all these coming out of our garden. So we've got the applewood going. I got to be able to get the temperature probe in the chicken. We did our rub last night, and most of it stuck to it. Hopefully that's the way smoked chicken is supposed to look before we put it on the grill. I'm gonna feed the temperature, hot. Temperature probe. And one of the nice things on this grill is we have the little guard, so it keeps the temperature in as much as possible if you're not using the temperature probe. So I'm gonna try and get this into the actual meaty part, or the breast, between the breast and the thigh on the chicken, so it gets the temperature. And then we're gonna put it on until it gets up to about 160, and it'll continue to cook up. Obviously, everybody says 165, so we don't get any of the bad bacteria going on. We'll figure out how to get Mr. Chicken on the grill. Share some space with our chipotles. Whew. A little smoky. Make sure I'm getting in the right spot for the... A little smoky. So we'll check on that. Close that up. This grill allows you to check. Of course, it'd help if I plugged it in. Put in the one probe. So we'll come back around. Still, it's dropped down to 152 for the main grill, and it shows our chicken's at 55 degrees. So we're gonna let it go, and hopefully in a couple hours I'll come out here and flip it over, and then in maybe 5 hours, it's a 5.5 pound chicken, so it's gonna take a minute to get it cooked up. So I'm gonna get out of the smoke because I can't breathe. All right, so the temperature on this thing is moving up a little bit quicker than I expected, but I'm new to this whole smoking thing. It's showing 130, if you can even see that. So I think it's time to go ahead and flip it over. Just took my chipotle peppers off, and they smell really good. This chicken looks good, smells good. So I'm gonna see if I can flip this over with one hand without breaking things, pulling it apart. Probably sticking to the grate. Good, a little bit of a crust. Let's see, for such a short time. And then I'm gonna reposition my probe. All right, let's figure out where to put the probe back in here without piercing the cavity. Should be right in the, trying to get it between the thigh and the breast. That seems more realistic. Now we're back down to 130. So we're gonna let that go at that temperature, and come back and see it in a little while. All right, so it's time. The temperature's up to 161, so I'm going to take it off and decide put it on a pan and then wrap it in aluminum foil, let it cook up the rest of the way. It'll probably go up another, from what I've read, 5 or 10 degrees. Hopefully not too much, but looks pretty good. It's a nice pretty bird. And the nice thing also is this didn't use as much wood as I thought it was going to. That's all that was used out of there. Not very much. And the total cook time is 3 hours and 45 minutes is what it looks like. Take my probe out. We gotta remember to wash this. Set it to standby or shut down. And it'll run the fan for about 10 minutes and shut the whole thing down. It'll burn through the rest of whatever's in the firebox to get rid of the rest of the dripping out. Get rid of the rest of the pellets that were in there. All right. So we're gonna let this rest for a little while and cut it up, see what it is. Otherwise, that's how you do a smoked chicken. Looks pretty good.